Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. His voice is in a different place. What happened? It's called sickness. But we're going to get through tonight because this is going to be the thing. I have been looking forward to the show ever since I booked it. I first discovered this guy on Mon Comics' top five when Nate told me to watch him, and I saw this guy and Lettuce. I hadn't seen Lettuce up to that point. And Collecting Casually, I believe, was the other guy on there. I ended up subbing them all. And I've liked them all and watched them very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest today, Uncanny Derek.
Salutations. Thank you so much for having me on, Matt, you two-time Comic Book Community Award winner.
Yeah, apparently. I wanted to take the time to say you're an author, you're a musician, you're a comic book guy,
Sure.
You're a dad.
I am.
Where do you find the time for it all?
I don't have time for it all. Well, let's put things in perspective. The book and the album came out before children. so that's in the past, man. That's in the past. Okay. Everything else just kind of the comic book stuff was always there, but it really actually my reignition into liking comic books happened over COVID. Because obviously a lot of people had downtime. And then the whole YouTube channel, as I mentioned backstage, really started after having my first child because I found I had a lot of free time in the evenings to talk about the things I wanted to talk about and just enjoy the hobby. So that's really how I parse my time. But even like I know we're at 8:30 tonight because you accommodated my busy fatherhood schedule.
I know exactly where you're at. I've been there at that age. I understand. It's just tough. I usually can accommodate anybody who can't make this time. So,
well, I really do appreciate it because I know that you're usually at 7 o'clock. This is obviously an hour and a half later than usual. So it just, thank you so much. I appreciate. I'm really excited to do this with you. Let's do knuckleheads.
So let's tell the crowd out there, how did you get into comics? Were you one of those guys who collected when you were younger, stopped, and then started again? Or did you collect straight through?
So on and off again. So I knew this question was coming. So I brought the book out. This is my first ever comic book. This is still it from the original. This is like, if you open it up, I'm going to open it up. And this is X-Men number 36. This is from 1994. So this guy here is Andy Kubert. Artwork inside there, you can see I have in pencil my name. I was learning a little bit of cursive.
Wow.
This book was left outside for a year. It got rained and snowed on. Like, it is beat to all hell.
Wow.
And this is really what got it started. And I bought this book. If you look at it, you're like, why would you buy this book, Derek? The X-Men cartoon show came out in the 90s. The only person I recognized on the cover here was Sabretooth. I was at a 7-Eleven that was down the street from me, and I saw this book, and I recognized Sabretooth. I'm like, cool, let's jump into it. And that was really the only other character, save for Jubilee, that was in this book. The rest of it is the introduction of Sync. It's the beginning of, this is, I think, part 2 of the Phalanx Covenant. So, part 2. So, like, there's not a lot happening in this book to entice me. So I bought this book. I enjoyed the artwork. It had the awesome little, this was the cliffhanger. Sabretooth had escaped, so he was in the shackles this entire time. So I was enthralled with the cliffhanger. I didn't really understand still what was going on, but I didn't buy any other comic books after this. Actually, this was it. It was 94, so I would have been like 9 or 10 years old. So I didn't really understand comic books still. And then I ended up jumping back on again during the Operation Zero Tolerance, which was a little bit later in the 90s. I think it was 97, 98. Then I got off again, and then jumped on again in high school, jumped off again, jumped on again at the end of university for me. And I went a little bit harder. That's when I bought that's when I bought this book here. This is X-Men number 15. I have signed by Stan Lee, but I got that signed years later. And once I bought that book, that kind of triggered the whole collecting thing, because I had this old book from the 60s now, and it was like, hey, this is really cool. And it kind of exploded from there on out. And then in the 2010, 2011, I actually donated a bunch of. I had a total, I think, 6 long boxes, and I gave 3 of them to charity. I gave them to a
Yeah,
sister.
I used to do the same before I had giveaways to think about.
Yeah.
I used to give away a lot to charity too.
So I had a
But-
lot of books that were worthwhile that I got rid of. But at the time, Moon Knight #1 was not. It, in my opinion, it's still a $1 book. There's millions of copies out there, but now it's like a $80 book if you have a high grade copy, and it's like, I guess I could have kept it. So just donated a bunch of comics. They got back into them over the pandemic, and here I am.
Okay, well, let's take a minute to say hi to everybody that's come up today. Hi, Lyle. Hi, Kay Munin, who was here briefly, but I know that he's over at Nate's. Bit preoccupied. Got Robbie Josephs. Hi, Robbie. Good to see you. Good to see you, Second Floor Comics. Hi, Kenny Numbers. Hi, Tan. It's good to see you. Oh, let's do the little.
Hey.
I don't have any bells and whistles anymore. They took them all away. Let's see. We've got JSS Brooklyn popped in. Chris Parker. Hi, Chris. Jab's Expensive Paper. Nate popped in.
Wait a minute.
I know. It's amazing. How can you be in 2 places at once? Internet.
Double.
Yes. Jeff Jack. Good to see you. We've got Mark Marshall. Good to see you here as well. Matt from Empress Comics. And let's see here. We got Mark likes Archie Comics. Mark's Mueller. And we've got Kendall Smith. Hello. Comic Mike is here. Hi, Comic Mike. And I think that may... Oh, no, we've got Den Kyle, 312. Good to see you. Lau is here. And that's everybody. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to make you big, let you show your books, and then I will throw out any comments and questions I may have.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
So I brought a ton of books. I mean, I brought 10 books to show off. I don't know if that's too much, but yeah, just a random eclectic mix of books for my collection. Some obscure ones, some not so obscure ones. Just I felt like here's some comic books. So my first book, I guess, is going to be Shadows of the Empire, and this book specifically.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, and this is one of those bridge books where technically it's a comic book, but it's also technically a toy, because this book came with the Boba Fett and IG-88 action figures. And so there's only, I think, 10 pages in this book. And I picked this up at my LCS this year. So this is from 1996, this book. And it's just a short bridge story about what happened. If you ever seen Star Wars, spoiler alert, Han Solo gets thrown in carbonite and Boba Fett takes him to Jabba's palace. And here is IG-88 fighting Boba Fett to get Han Solo to get it to Jabba instead. So I'm a big fan of the Star Wars, what is now called Legends, but back then was called Expanded Universe. And
I was sad when they got rid of that. I mean, Shadows of the Empire is the best Star Wars movie never made.
Exactly.
That novel was fantastic.
Yep. The video games were great too for the Nintendo 64.
Yes.
But, yeah, Sheezer was one of my favorite villains too. Yeah, Pauline. Jay knows what's up. So I've always enjoyed this book. It's just there's no number to it. It's just really cool to have in the collection because, as a EU Star Wars fan, why not? But now everything I have here is new. I have a few old books, a few new books. One of the older books, actually another book I picked up just this year, was a big hole in my X-Men collection. I'm called Uncanny Derek. I collect X-Men. I needed X-Men number 12 still, and I picked this up this year.
Wow.
So this is one of the big holes that I still needed in my collection. I have, you can see there's number 1, so I have that. The other big holes I still need 4. I need technically 2, 3, 4, and then 50 is the second Polaris, but the new logo there, and arguably 35, which is the Spider-Man cover. That one's considered a more expensive book, but this was the next big key. So I picked this up at the Toronto Comic Con in March this year. It just needs a press, to be honest. It's a little bit of moisture damage just in terms of like the waviness on the pages, but staples are clean on this. This is a just awesome book, this is one of my favorite. This is my favorite Jack Kirby cover of the series. Just Juggernaut bursting out, and
it is one of the best. I would agree with you. It is. It's a busy cover.
Yes,
and you know what? There needs to be more busy covers back then because there was too many of just here's the three people standing there. Thor and Avengers, and nobody was actually fighting.
And one thing I like to poke at the bear when I talk about this comic book is, in my opinion, this is the cameo appearance of Juggernaut. The first full appearance of Juggernaut happens in issue 13. So if we follow the the Hulk 180, Hulk 181, this is technically the Hulk 180 of the Juggernaut, despite it being credited as the first appearance of Juggernaut, because he only really appears at the final page, final panel of the book. We get the illusions of the Juggernaut throughout. So yeah, I'm thoroughly happy to have this book, but I also don't technically consider it the first appearance of Juggernaut if we're going to follow those Hulk rules.
Hi, Mr. Akins.
Hey, yeah. So I was.
Did somebody? He says, did somebody say Hulk 180?
Yeah, his ears must have been burning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, here's the thing. You get that argument all the time. And honestly, it really comes down to what you believe or not. I mean, I personally believe a first appearance is a first appearance. I don't care if it's a cameo appearance at the end. That's the first appearance.
Yeah.
And what makes me laugh the most is when people talk about Red Sonja. She actually, she was actually a page and a half in her first appearance. That was not a cameo appearance. But people go because it's the cover appearance on 24 versus 23. It's like, no. 23 is first appearance.
Yeah, 100%. I'm as much as I like to say that, like, in joke, that's the Hulk 180 of X-Men. I still think it's Juggernaut's first appearance. Like, it is, but I like to, like I said, I like to bother some people when I say that. I'm a big fan of X-Men, but I'm also a big fan of horror comic books. And one of the cooler horror modern books that I picked up, this is Gore Shriek #1. And this is from 1985, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what year, 85 or 86. And this is obviously a very graphic cover. The cover from it is by Bruce Spalding, if I'm not mistaken. But this book is notable because it is Greg Capullo's first comic book work entirely. So this is an anthology book. There's 4 horror stories inside of it, and Greg Capullo does the artwork on one of them. And it's a pretty cool story. All the stories inside here are all black and white. But as a horror fan, this cover is just amazing. It is just super. Like, this is not safe for work stuff, But found this earlier at the Niagara Falls Comic Con, and really, like, for being a black cover, it's in 9.8 category. Like, this is practically a mint book. There's a slight indent that I can't even really show on the camera, but yeah, it's not even color breaking. It could be pressed out. Like, yeah, Gore Shriek. But like, I like X-Men, but my favorite X-Men, and I ask this a lot, why is it Angel? And there's a whole reason for that. I've said it in tons of different videos I've done, but one of my favorite early appearances of Angel is in this Tales of Suspense #49.
Oh, and very cool. That is a good story.
It is a cool story, and this book, I feel, is an underrated gem because there's a lot going on in this book. So, like, the first time the Avengers and the X-Men fight is in X-Men #9. That's their first battle between each other. But in here, this is kind of the precursor to that, and you have Angel versus Iron Man. This is the first time Iron Man interacts with anybody outside of his own books. So we know he's in the Avengers. He's in that already. But in the Tales of Suspense series, everything's been self-contained. There's been no Iron Man reaching out or talking to other people outside of the Tales of Suspense world. So in this is the first time Iron Man's crossed over into the rest of the Marvel universe. This is the second appearance of the red and gold costume here. This is the first Tales of the Watchers backup story. And in here, also, the Avengers do have a cameo. So that's pretty cool. But the thing I love the most about this book, Jack Kirby cover, but the interiors are by Steve Ditko. And so this is the only book where Steve Ditko worked on the X-Men, which I think is just pretty awesome. So all the X-Men are in here, but it is a Ditko drawn book. So it's the only Ditko X-Men I'm familiar with.
Well, I do admit the 1960s Marvel was great for world building. They did a great job mixing everybody.
So there's two funny things about this book, though, that are seriously underrated. So one is that because there's still world building, obviously things can get goofed up. And inside the book, Iron Man calls himself Donald Stark instead of Tony Stark or Donald Blake. So he's called Donald Stark in the book. The other thing is that this book, X-Men number 4, is the first appearance of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So that's Scarlet Witch, Toad, Mastermind, all that. In here, this book came out a couple months before X-Men number 4. But in this book, Angel goes crazy and he wants to join the Evil Mutants. And all he says in the book is, I want to join the Evil Mutants. I need to join the Evil Mutants. And technically, there's no Evil Mutant story at all. So as you read this in real time, you're reading this and going, what is Angel talking about? Because the Evil Mutants don't come out yet for another couple months in X-Men number 4. So it's just funny how the world is getting built, but it's so early that publishing times are still not caught up to what the stories actually are. This is one of my favorite books in my collection. This is just super cool to have.
And when you consider that a lot of books are done with a lead time of 3 to 6 months, they know what's coming, but we don't. And
right.
Sometimes they forget that. Yeah,
and so he calls it the Evil Mutants as well, not the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Mm-hmm. So there was that lag, just even in the naming conventions of it. So really, really neat.
Although I will ask, Magneto was in number 1, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Did he mention anything to that sort of effect? That I've never read X-Men 1, so.
No, Magneto was the sole villain of X-Men 1, and then he gets defeated and takes off, and then 2 was Vanisher, 3 was Blob, and then 4 was the Brotherhood. Right. So, yeah, there was no precursor to it. And then after 4, the next appearance of the Brotherhood is in a Journey into Mystery, where they fight Thor. And then after that, this Quicksilver Scarlet Witch, they do a Strange Tale fight against the Fantastic Four. But they're intermingling with the X-Men every so often too. So it just, it's a muddled mess.
Sounds like it.
But a fun mess. I don't collect just X-Men or random Marvel books. I also have a nice selection of old Golden Age books, which I'm going to showcase a couple of them. Actually, no, I'm doing a Silver Age first, and I'll do 3 Golden Ages, and then that'll be it. So this Silver Age book I'm going to showcase right now. I just had a video release this Friday or last Friday about it. It is a very inconspicuous Life with Archie number 41. And
very nice looking book.
It is a super clean book that I won at auction at my comic shop. Why would I don't collect Archie. Hey, I heard a ding.
On this channel, you must ding. That's why I give away bells in my giveaways.
Somebody's asking if I have any comics from DC. I actually think I do. I do have a comic from DC. I'm going to pull out and just I'll pull that out next. I forgot it was buried under my stack of Golden Ages. Mm-hmm. So why do I have this book? So I am a fan of horror. I am a fan of monsters. I am a fan of monster movies. And technically speaking, in this book, I go into it much more detail in my video. In the very first page, it's the first appearance of Godzilla in American comic books.
Nice.
Godzilla versus Mothra. And as we go through into the next page, we see it is a movie that Archie is watching off to the side there called Monster Melee. It's not going to focus too well, but that is Godzilla and that is Mothra. Just as a huge fan of Godzilla, this book has always been on my list, and this book has been creeping in price dramatically as more people figure out that this is a key book, so to speak. They aren't named as Godzilla and Mothra in the series or in the book at all, but it's very much like where else is a fire-breathing lizard fighting them off, So
Right.
it's DC. I did just pick this up last week, actually. I picked this up last week. Swamp Thing number 7.
Swamp Thing number 7. Good book.
Yeah, so I'm still actually interesting story about this. So I picked this up. It was pretty cheap because there's a little bit of dried Scotch tape on the top. And so I know that Bestine is probably one of the better products to use to clean this book. If I bought this book specifically that I'm going to clean this corner off. The thing is, I learned after the fact I purchased it, which I still wanted the book regardless, is that Bestine, or heptane is what the chemical is called, is banned in Canada.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what can I do to clean this? So I've been on a little bit of a spree of trying to figure out what I can use to clean this tape, because everybody's telling me just use a blow dryer, but this is like, it's old tape. Like it's not going to come off easily with a blow dryer because it's really dried up on there. So anyway, Bernie Wrightson cover, Bernie Wrightson interiors, and obviously this is one of the more iconic Swamp Thing covers, and obviously with
I put it this way: the first Swamp Thing series, you buy it for the art.
Sure.
The second Swamp Thing series, you buy for Alan Moore's writing.
There you go. 100% in agreement with you. So I'm only showing the one DC book tonight, but that's the big one.
Dope says lighter fluid for about 15 seconds.
Well, then I have to start smoking, and I don't want to do that. Thanks for the advice. 3 more books, all Golden Age. So next one up is this is my oldest comic book in my collection. It's Airboy Comics. This is Airboy Comics number 11. This is from December of 1945.
Nice.
Now, this book used to be, as you can see, it was formerly Air Fighters Comics. And just as aside, why do I have this book? I'm a big fan of history, and I enjoy, like, I'm big into politics. I'm big in the history of it all. And obviously a book like this during the end of World War II has a lot of historical artifacts in it, so to speak. It's very much a timepiece. So I really like the idea of collecting old books like this. This Airboy Comics, technically it is Airboy Comics number 11, but it was renamed Airboy Comics from Air Fighters Comics number 10. Now, this is needlessly convoluted, but I wrote it down here. I'm looking at it on my monitor so I can explain it. So Airboy Comics used to be called Air Fighters Comics. There was volume 1 and then volume 2, and then volume 3 is technically this book here. But in the indicia on the inside, it says it's called Air Fighters Comics volume 2 number 11, despite it clearly being Airboy Comics number 11. But because this is the first issue of Airboy, it's still technically Airboy Comics volume 1 number 1, which it is, but it isn't. But also, this book is sometimes listed as Airboy Comics number 23, because if you take the first 22 issues, or first 2 volumes of Air Fighters Comics, there's 22 issues. This is technically Air Fighters Comics number 23 or Airboy Comics number 23. The Golden Age was just a train wreck when it came to this.
Well, they did everything they could, right, to keep that second postage second class rating. So
exactly. And so this book is needlessly convoluted. But it is just a amazing book to have in my collection. And, there's a few little things about it. Like there's a stamp there that says Roy on it, and it has JR on the top. I don't know if the guy was a wrestling fan or something like that. But this is just awesome book that I really enjoy the stories inside here and the historical artifacts that the book is all about.
Yes, Green Lantern number 1. If you ever see it from 1960 there, Green Lantern number 1 does not have number 1 on the cover for that reason, so that they can keep the second class. It's so silly.
What a train wreck, eh?
I know.
In the same vein, there is another book that I have where it got renamed. This is my earliest EC book. This is Vault of Horror number 13. Now,
very cool.
This book is from 1950. This is technically the second issue of the series. So Vault of Horror used to be called War Against Crime. Then it changed from issue 10 to issue 11 to be Vault of Horror. And then here's, issue 12 to be Vault of Horror. Now here's the second issue. So issue 13 is technically issue 2 of Vault of Horror.
Yeah.
Johnny Craig cover, Al Feldstein art, obviously the great Wally Wood's inside there too. On the book here, or cover, it says, "Good Lord, the casket is open. Her body is gone. Edgar, do you hear me? What could have happened to it?" Well, buddy, turn around. She's right there, you know?
She's hanging out.
Yeah, just coming through the door. Hey, what are you doing? Get on my bed. So I'm a huge fan of early, well, I like pre-code horror. So you can't get any more. Well, you can't.
I've always been a big fan of EC, even when I wasn't really into horror books. I just loved EC from day one.
Yeah, and Johnny Craig's my favorite Golden Age artist, I would say. So, I mean, this is not his best cover, but just to have an early Johnny Craig cover like this is just love it. But this is my last Golden Age book I'm about to show, and this is one that I have. I'm showing. Here's a Matt Likes Comics exclusive. This is coming out in a video I have already made and in the queue for.
I feel honored.
It's a slab. What?
Oh, very cool.
Slabs? What am I buying slabs? What's going on here? So I picked this up at an auction along with that Archie book, actually, and I won both of these during the same auction. This is a horror book. It is Thing number 16, and I've always loved this cover because it's absolutely bizarre. It is just one of the
more. Oh my god, that is very bizarre. I like it.
It's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yes, but it's cool at the same time because it's so busy. What's in this hand? What's the face? Who's the guy carrying over there by the grave? You know, like.
Well, that's the thing. There isn't anything in his hand. It's actually, it looks like it is, but the coloring makes it look like that's his jacket there, that blue thing. There's nothing in his hand. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's just, it looks, and obviously it's a weird position, weird pose, lady in the background, unconscious. This is a 3/5. Obviously there's the big color breaking spine, or the fold there. The back has pretty decent spine roll. I always question why people grade these books when they could like easily fix it up for like adding another 20 bucks.
I think you would have seen that a lot of those books were graded before people started thinking about cleaning up things.
This is fair. The number here starts at 201, so it is I think 2018, 2019. Steve Kirkle cover, Joe Shuster, Dick Ayers, and Sam Moskowitz art, and Injury to Eye panel are the notes on there. So
Comic Mike wants to know, is that based on the Thing movie from the 50s?
No, A Thing from Another World. I love that movie. But no, it is not. This is Charlton book, by the way. But no, this is again, anthology stories inside of here. So there's I think 20 issues or 22 issues of the series, and they're just a series of stories within it. So this is the newest book of my collection. Am I going to break it out of the slab? Probably not. The other thing is that microfiber paper slipped out of the book too, so it's kind of unsightly at the bottom. Unfortunately, there's not much I can't get it back in there. So just one of those things again, quality.
Well, you know what? There's also the factor that, you know, people will put that in thinking, okay, this won't be as expensive if I clean it up, get a 6, but it's worth more. And that means the bigger fee, right?
Yeah. So those are my 10 books that I brought, just kind of all over the place, and just kind of showcase a little bit of everything that I like to collect. And
that is very cool. Very, very cool. So the question next becomes, what are your plans for the channel? What have you got coming up?
Oh man, that's such a loaded question. So the thing is that my videos are, I do the, you know, here are my recent pickups. Here's me talking a little bit about history. Here's me ragging on graded books. Here's me talking about the market. I'm kind of all over the place. And so my next big video that I do have planned, I'll let you guys know about what this is. I did a video that did pretty well in views a few months ago about Giant Size X-Men #1 and how CGC on the census, the book seems to be creeping up. And actually, I believe that was the video that Alan from Comic Collector Geek had me on, and we talked about it.
Yes.
But at the current moment, I have no problem admitting I was wrong. So I have to do a follow-up video. Nobody's asked me to do a follow-up video, but I feel that I have to because of what I said in that video. So I'm going to be doing a follow-up video once the new year is done and once the official census for the year is complete, to do a follow-up and just say, hey, unless I end up being right at the end, but at the moment it looks like I'm wrong, and I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. So there's going to be that. I have a recap video coming up of all the books that I've purchased this year, and then a little bit of history about them all and just discussing my plans for future years or for the next year. And of course, I have my thumb on the pulse all the time about what's going on in the comic book market. It's just I don't have all the time to sit there and do it. So
I get that too. It's amazing. Like I put YouTube videos. I work from home. I will work here, and with my computer here, I've got the YouTube on the back. I can spend the entire day just keeping up on people who I'm subscribed to.
Yeah.
You know?
And when I started the channel, my wife was even like, how can you have so much to talk about? And it's like, believe me, it's an everyday thing. There's something every day in this hobby that is just mind-blowing to talk about, and it doesn't ever end. So
I'll never forget the time at the office where we had a 35-minute conversation. This while we were working about this Aquaman. Like, how do they go to the bathroom in Atlantis? How do they keep the poop from going into the water? Yeah. It's silly, but that's the kind of conversations this sort of thing could lead to. Especially when we looked at a floor plan for the Enterprise. There literally was one bathroom in the entire Enterprise.
No, I don't want to know that.
It's like, so the question becomes, when you get, when your molecules get down on the transporter, do you come back and your body's wastes are eliminated, or who knows?
How many how many toilets did the bathroom have? I guess
I don't know.
Because if it's just one stall, then yeah, that's a big deal. That the Enterprise had 300-400 people on it.
I would think that there's more than that. I think that's just the communal. But at the same time, it's like, do they think of these things? I don't know. But the worst part is that we think of these things, but it's realistic because Star Trek is real. I know Star Trek is so realistic, of course.
Hey, they tried.
Actually, they do a pretty good job keeping it in the sort of real universe.
Yeah, tacky on that.
There's a reason why Star Wars is space fantasy versus science fiction for Star Trek.
Absolutely. So, I wish more people understood the difference.
So, Derek, thank you very much for coming tonight. I wish I was feeling better. I would love to keep this going, but I probably should wrap it up so that I get to bed.
It's okay, man.
Just a quick note to everybody out there. We are 47 subs away from the giveaway as of today. Yay. We had a good week. And I'm going to let's see here. Sorry. Next week, my guest we'll be back at our regular time next week when my guest will be Up and Atom Comics. He'll be here on December 2nd. Happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends and those on this side like myself that actually celebrated. Oh, one last question. Sorry, I did want to ask you. You go to all the major cons in the Toronto area, right? Or do you just go to
No, I do. I try to make all of the major cons. I don't know if I'm going to this year with the second child here now, but yeah, I do try to hit up all the major ones in Toronto every year.
Yeah. I'm interested, but I'm also afraid that it's too busy. So
it's not. I usually go on Sundays where it is quieter, and I make it there for first thing in the morning. But for the most part, they aren't too bad. It's just it's kind of underwhelming, unfortunately, because yeah, as you say, you watch YouTube videos all the time, and everybody's doing everything, and you go, oh, they're at Emerald City Comic Con, they're at Terrificon, and then you go to Fan Expo Toronto, and you're like, cool.
It's Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's not exactly known as the most world's exciting city, so
yeah. So I don't know, but that's the best Canada has to offer. So you take what you can get, I guess.
Thank you very much, Derek. Everybody who joined us tonight, and if you're watching on the rewind, thank you very much. We are going to head out now. My name's Matt. I like comics, and I really like to get well. Bye, everybody. I hope you do too.
So much.
Bye.